Welcome back to the Kempire Radio podcast. You see a visual version, but the audio version always comes out first. So be sure to check out our podcast, Kempire Radio, on your favorite podcast platform. And then the visual version on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. So as you know, we've been doing a few episodes where you get to see me in the studio. Sometimes I'll be somewhere else. We're going to try different things because here on the Kempire Radio podcast, it's not your typical thing that you get on our other platforms or on Kempire Daily. Yes, we talk a little bit of hot topics and a little bit of, the housewives and things like that. And we're going to do that again this week because this is another opportunity where I've sat in the hot topics maybe for a little while, or it's fresh on my brain, or I get to dig a little bit deeper into music, things that we normally talk about here on Kempire Radio. So let's just get on in to the tea. All right. So as you know, we talk a little bit about the family Chantelle on our Tuesday takeover on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. Shameless plug. But here's the thing. So now, even though I've been calling the show fake and phony in this entire new season, season 4, it seems as if they're getting a real life divorce. And the comment section, all of you are like, I'm surprised she didn't realize that's the only reason why he got married to her. I thought they were truly in love. I think they're a beautiful couple, Pedro and Chantelle. But I did notice that something with Chantelle, from the time we met Chantelle to who she is now, it's almost like the invasion of the body snatchers because there's just something lifeless behind her eyes. Anyone else notice that? Something's just not 100%. But I didn't believe their storyline at all this season where they were having marital problems just because it wasn't believable on set. And do I think that a couple will go through a divorce in order for TV, for us to believe them on TV? Yes. But the mutual restraining order that was filed in this divorce made me go, wait a minute. There might be something here. Well, according to Pedro, Chantelle took out over $200 and something thousand from their joint account and moved it. So a lot of people are saying, oh, well, now Pedro has moved on. He has his own job and blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a lot of accusations flying between both couples. And I'm actually surprised that anyone believes it. I mean, I kind of believe it, but I didn't see this coming. But some of you said, Kempire, really? You didn't see this coming? We knew what his true intentions was. We knew what his mother set this whole situation up to be. I don't know. But is this going to garner more attention for the show? Yes. Yes. Will they be together 5 years from now? Maybe not. Will they get another season? Yes. So the divorce can play out on season 5. Honestly, after Pedro lied to us last season, I know I keep bringing it up, but it's because I think we all fell for it. We were like, oh my gosh, Pedro is showing such emotion. His mother is so cold. He hadn't met his long lost brothers. Come to find out, he met them years ago and there was a photo to prove it. You can't deny that photo. Moving on. Well, since we're talking about Pedro from the Dominican Republic, okay, not to be, problematic, but let's talk about Ricky Martin. So as you know, I broke the story. I didn't break the story, but I was one of the first to break the story about Ricky Martin and this restraining order that was filed against him in Puerto Rico. So this all went down over the holiday weekend. So look, I mean, it's been a while since we spoke, but we got to talk about this. There's been a lot of mixed information. I'm not going to say misinformation, mixed information on what this actually is. Was this his nephew? There were a lot of conflicting reports that this was his nephew that filed these allegations against him. Ricky Martin has since spoken out and said that these are false allegations. So within the allegations, for those that may have been under a rock, this person is saying that Ricky Martin has been harassing them, that they were in a relationship. I'm just going to say relationship, not necessarily intimate relationship. They were in a relationship for like 7 months. And Ricky's been trying to get back with him. That's why I was like, the nephew. That doesn't make sense, y'all. That doesn't make sense. And then a lot of you say, where's his partner? Well, I'll say this again. I hate to keep saying this, but I know quite a few gay men, and it's not just gay men. There are plenty of people now, but the gay men were the first ones doing it in my head, where they have a boyfriend and they have a husband. Sometimes they have more than one boyfriend. Just saying. So it wouldn't surprise me that they were still in a relationship, him and his husband, and Ricky had a boyfriend, and that turned out to be another situation. When this story ended up coming up, okay, elephant brain. When this story started coming up, I didn't realize just a few days before this, Ricky Martin's former manager was suing him for $3 million. She was like, I came in when there was this really dark secret, okay, Crystal, that was going to come out, and I helped him resolve all of that, and I helped him launch his touring. So he's dealing with that, and now he's dealing with this restraining order. At the time of this recording, I do not have an update on this because it is a restraining order, and it's being considered a domestic violence situation, so they're trying to protect the accuser, understandably. But as soon as we know a little bit more, you know I'm going to be yapping. Speaking of yapping, when I did this report, our friends over in the Netherlands, the #1 entertainment news outlet, used my video. Didn't ask me for permission, but that's a whole other story. I would have said yes for free. I love the Netherlands. I've been there quite a few times. So shout out to all of you that live over there and let me know, because I would have never known. And that's probably what they were hoping. Which is fine. But they highlighted the shadiest parts of my video for their coverage of Ricky Martin and this restraining order.
Ricky Martin is being accused of domestic violence in Puerto Rico, and apparently it's not his husband.
We're global, but I already knew we're global. That's a great benefit of YouTube. We have supporters in Europe, Africa, Australia, and of course here in the United States and Canada. Shout out to all of you. And always, guys, always link me. Don't assume that I know that someone has used my content or I'm being broadcasted somewhere else around the world. I believe that's not the first time. I think that's just the only time I actually have footage of it. Well, since we're talking about legal situations, there's a couple of legal situations that I want to talk about. Brittney Griner. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Brittney Griner, she is in the WNBA. She, on her off season, goes to Russia to play. She was in Russia when all of the Ukraine and Russia situation was going down, and she literally got arrested for this cannabis oil that she had in her luggage. This week, she pled guilty in court. The maximum sentence for this is 10 years in a Russian prison. 10 years. And she pled guilty. So there are rumors that our administration are working about doing a prisoner swap. But we don't know how long that's going to take. President Biden has spoken out about this. Brittney Griner's girlfriend has spoken out about this. This is a crazy situation. The State Department is saying that this is not I forgot the exact terminology, but they're saying this is not a lawful detainment. But as you know, this was very convenient timing of this whole situation. And I know people are speculating, oh, someone probably put that in her bag. I don't know. And there are a lot of people saying as well, I don't know why you guys go over there and don't do what you're supposed to do when it comes to these people's laws. All of that's well and good. But let's keep in mind what was happening at the time that she was arrested. And normally, has she probably gone back and forth and had no issue with that before? Probably. Yeah. This is a sad situation. She seems to be okay, but we don't really know because in Russia, all of the media is very controlled. So I just pray for Brittney Griner, and I hope that she's able to come back because although some of you are saying that, oh, well, she went over there and broke their laws. How do you feel about that law here, though? You want your cannabis oil here. So that is a conversation to be had, but I just hope that they're able to figure something out. She's already been over there since February in prison. I think she's done her time at this point for based on what the crime is. All right, Jen Shah. I know. Jen Shah, as you know, is facing federal charges from the Southern District of New York. They've set a court date. They're going to start the jury process on July 18th. I'm going to be out of town. Damn, I just realized this. I'm going to be out of town, and Jen Shah is going to, well, I'm here in New York right now. So is Jen Shah. So that is going to be interesting to see that Jen Shah is here filming with Meredith and Heather Gay. But remember, Heather Gay said, I'm going to be there to hold your hand. Okay, hold her hand when she's sentenced too. Just saying, as I said to you guys before, so many people have pled guilty around this whole situation and are turning on her. Even Stuart Smith is going to be testifying against her. They're trying to have him thrown out, saying that he called her a slur. This is the same man we just watched feed her, that she fed a banana on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But they have to do whatever they can in order to get her free. I wish them luck. And a lot of people are speculating whether or not they're going to use footage, during this, trial. The judge is like, we don't want this to be any sort of circus. There might be a little footage used during the trial, but it's not going to be everything. And luckily for her, but let's keep in mind too, the Southern District of New York, these prosecutors, they're not relying on the footage of Bravo or the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They've been doing their due diligence. They've been working on this for years before they said, ha-ha! Just saying. Let's be real. But I'm also not ready for a 40-episode season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, to be honest with you. I'm not interested in another long season, especially one without Mary Cosby. But maybe we'll fall in love with some of the newbies that will be a part. But I don't know. Angie Harrington is coming back, and I felt like she came out balls a-blazing, in season 2. But that's not enough for me to be like, yes. Just something about Mary Cosby sitting in her closet that was always entertaining. Where is Mary Cosby? Has there been a sighting of Mary Cosby? That's so interesting. Would you guys want to see Mary Cosby on Ultimate Girls Trip? Speaking of Ultimate Girls Trip, how do you guys feel about this season? All right, let's talk. Because, when I do this live, it's one thing. But, it's been couple of weeks since Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip premiered. And this is the ex-wives club, because none of these ladies are currently on the Real Housewives of their city. But they are all thirsty to get back on. It's so funny to see all of them call each other thirsty. The only one that doesn't seem thirsty to come back on is Eva the Diva. She's the only one. And I have to say, Eva has really, for me, I wouldn't mind seeing her come back. And I'm not big on like, oh yeah, they should come back. But I wouldn't mind seeing her, because I also know that she naturally is still friends, like literally friends with people like Kenya, Candy, Phaedra. Like, she's friends with these folks. So to me, it wouldn't feel like this forced friendship. And she probably knows some of the people that are on there right now. Anyways, so Ultimate Girls Trip for me, Dorinda. Any hopes of Dorinda coming back to what you're probably thinking, legacy? Well, you already know we did a separate report on Kempire Daily talking about how Dorinda sort of slipped to Jeff Lewis, that she was filming at her home in New York City. What was she filming? And then when he confronted her on it, she was just like a humming. So no matter how you feel about Dorinda during this ex-wives club situation, and it's like scary Dorinda again, it seems as if she will be returning. But I have to say, I kind of miss the fact that we never got years, and I thought this before, years with Jill Zarin and Dorinda on Roni. But maybe we will get them on Legacy. So for those of you that are like, oh, word on the street, I heard from some inside sources, yup, Roni is coming back. They're set to film in September. And if you're thinking Ebony K. Williams is going to be part of the cast, word on the street, nope. That's what I've heard. See, this is the stuff that we talk about here that we don't talk about anywhere. We don't even talk about Kempire Daily because they're watching us. They want to see what we're saying. Speaking of watching us, shout out to our girl Caroline Brooks. And when I say a girl, I just use that loosely. I say that to people that I don't even like. No, Caroline Brooks from the Real Housewives of Dubai. In her spaces, she dropping lots of tea there. In her spaces, confirmed, she's like, they all watch. The producers watch you. We watch you. All the ladies, even the ones that you blast, watch. I already knew that though, because some of the producers have shown up in our comment section, shown up in our live chat. You remember, if you were there when we were recapping Real Housewives of Miami, an executive producer was in there, was like, buckle up, it's going to be a really good season, the past season. Speaking of the Real Housewives of Miami, Leah Black is going to make an appearance this new season because she's going to help Lisa Hochstein get through her divorce. Lisa Hochstein's the mistress that ruined her marriage. Okay, I'm being dramatic. No, Lenny ruined the marriage. Is saying that Lisa's created troll accounts and are trolling her. And some of you fans are like, no, those are just fan accounts. She's not doing that. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anyone because Lisa does have that level of immaturity, but I still want Lisa to win in this whole divorce situation. I don't think she's going to be able to get that house, even though she should. Remember, it was his dream to build that house on Star Island. He's not going to get that house up without a fight. But he's trying to get her kicked out with their 2 little kids. The kids can stay, but she has to go? Who's going to take care of them? The nannies that's always been taking care of them, Kempire, not her. Not me having a conversation with myself. Here's the thing. When we recapped Real Housewives of Miami, I was like, I like Miami. I like the feel of it, the natural money and friendships and the history. But I did say they would have to mix it up this season. They needed someone to activate the ladies. And we're getting a little bit more Kiki this season. I'm not sure if she's going to be an official friend of. I mean, she kind of should have been last season. She was like in every single episode. Not kind of. I think she was in every single episode. I just don't love the fact that Bravo ends up having what ends up on Peacock on Bravo like the next month. If they waited a few months, I think more people would engage with Peacock, saying like, oh, we're exclusive. No, people are like, I'll wait. I'll wait a month, a couple of weeks. It seems like what you guys accuse me of with the Kempire Radio. Like, well, oh, you just talking about the same stuff there. I'll just wait and watch it on Kempire. No, if you are a part of the podcast, you know, even in the audio version, there are certain things that I add in there or take out of the video version that's not going to necessarily be here. I don't know if that's going to happen with this video, but it happened with the last one. I talked about Beyonce's new album and her new song on the audio, but you didn't see it for the video. Oh, you didn't notice, huh? You didn't notice. Just saying. So I just kind of feel like, okay, if you're trying to make Peacock a thing, make it more exclusive so that, and I know there were Bravo fans that they were like, but I don't want to get Peacock Empire. I'm just talking about business though. I understand it works out for you guys, but I'm just saying as the futuristic vision for Peacock, it's not going to work out well for Peacock if people are just like, well, I'll just wait and I'll just watch Kempire's recaps. I mean, either way, I win. Either way, I win. Before we move on. So there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. I'll go back to Dubai because I know I talked about Caroline Brooks. I'll go back to Dubai in a second. But Ultimate Girls Trip, speaking of Dubai, so this past week, we had Phaedra come through. Phaedra on Ultimate Girls Trip, I know why people like Phaedra on Ultimate Girls Trip because they haven't seen Phaedra in a long time. You kind of like that that little hoity-toity character that she does. And I don't know if it's because I haven't seen her in a long time, but I'm so turned off by it. And it's not because, oh, I like can't. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just the fake and phony. It's sort of like, I need more. When she did an interview with Brandi Glanville for her podcast, I was like, why don't we get this Phaedra? Why is it always Phaedra with the ooh, oh? And that's exactly what she did on Real Housewives of Dubai this week. And I was just like, okay, Phaedra, this was exactly not what they thought it was going to be. The trailer made us excited. We're like, oh my God, Phaedra's going to be there. Is Phaedra going to come back and be in the mix? No, we don't need Shady Faye in the mix of anything. Her scene brought nothing. And I don't think the Real Housewives of Dubai girls need a Faye to mix things up. Do I think they need to mix things up in Dubai? A little bit. I'm not completely turned off to Caroline Stanbury. I think she is a big womp, 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 womp. Because I expected more, but I'm also not loving the fact that we get to see Sergio all the damn time for no apparent reason. If we got Sergio and Sergio gave us what Rich gave us this past week in that 1 second diss to Caroline Stanbury, that 50-year-old influencer, then I would understand. Well, that comment stirred them up. Sergio and Caroline Stanbury took to social media, took to Twitter, attacking Lisa and her business, accusing her business of not being what she says it is, saying that it's not 8 figures and that she doesn't have the employees and all of that. I mean, a lot of people are accusing, these housewives. They love to do that. They like to downplay these housewives' businesses because a lot of times these housewives are lying. So Caroline and Sergio, honestly, I believe it was just Caroline. So she was the one writing all of Sergio's tweets too. Sergio, go do something. Caroline Brooks literally said on Spaces that she doesn't even know what he does for work. I mean, he was a soccer player before. Maybe he invests all those different things now. I don't know. But what I do know, he's not entertaining and we don't need him here. I wouldn't mind if we saw him sporadically. But Caroline Stanbury, who a lot of people expected a lot from. I didn't expect a lot from Caroline, but I liked her on Ladies of London. So I thought here, I'd be like, okay, it'd be nice to see what she's up to, what she's doing. And every once in a while, we get a little glimpse of like, oh, this is what we need. We need you to engage Caroline. And I know she watches the content because apparently that's what stirred her up. Yep, word on the street. They were watching my recap of this past week and they got very hostile. And that's what made them take to social media, because literally they received these episodes way before we recapped them. But it was interesting. The next day they decided to take to social media after my recap. Feels good. Feels good. But as I always say, I think people think that, and I know the Bravo universe, I know reality TV fans get very invested, like the 90 Day Fiance fans. I am so out of the season of 90 Day Fiance. I'm watching and I'm talking about it, but I'm just so not into it. Anyways, so I think a lot of people think that I am as invested as they are. I recap it, I report on it, but I'm not. When I turn all this stuff off, I'm done thinking about these people. I don't want to be friends with these people. Some of these content creators want to be friends with these folks. I don't need to be friends. If it happens organically, I'm open to friendships. Don't look. As you get older, it's a little bit more difficult to make friends. Okay? But I'm also not one to be like, oh, be my friend, be my friend. No. I learned a long time ago. It's better to have one good friend than a bunch of fake ones. Let's be real. Can we talk? And look, these housewives, these reality TV stars want to make friends with people like myself that report on their shows, because we do look at us being influential. We do have an influence on people's feelings of the show. Some of you say, I only watch the show because you talk about it. You told me about the show. That's the reason why we're watching. I appreciate that. I appreciate that I can be influential, even though I'm not 50 yet. That's no shade. I'm just saying we're all going to get older. So I'm not interested. I'm not that invested, but I love talking about. I love talking about the Real Housewives of Dubai. I love talking about, some of the other shows and pop culture news that we cover. Beverly Hills, I'm not going to get into this week. I feel like I have just beat that dog with a bone because they dropped that trailer of those episodes of what's to come that past week, and I reported on it. Then we recapped it. I'm done. Shout out to Garcelle. Garcelle said it was a rough week for her, but she appreciated everyone's support after Erika Jayne cursed at her son. But I'll say this, and I've said this on multiple videos. Just because Erika Jayne cursed at Garcelle's son doesn't make it right for you guys to curse at and attack Portia, Kyle's daughter. And I know people are doing that because, Kyle and Dorit were laughing at what Erika did. Give them and I don't even encourage you guys giving them hell on social media, but call them to the carpet when it comes to them. Leave their kids alone. I know Leah McSweeney from Roni came out and spoke about how people are when it comes to trolling Portia, Kyle's daughter. And some of you have been saying, and you pointed out really an important factoid. Again, I'm going to preface this by saying they shouldn't be trolling any of the kids. But where was these same housewives when Garcelle had spoken out about, how Erika talked to her son? Where were they? Just saying. I mean, there were a couple of people, but where were they? Well, since we're talking about the housewives, can we just talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey? So as you know, they're in the middle of filming their new season, and they're a word on the street. They're trying to negotiate some sort of either spinoff or special for Teresa Giudice's wedding. Maybe a special, like a one-off episode. I can deal with that. I still don't think she should marry this man. But at the end of the day, your life, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, we warned you. We gave you all the information you needed on this man. And that calendar for the Jersey house husbands, the fact that he's a part of it, I'm like, you're not even a husband yet. You shouldn't be a part of this. Joe Gorga is so cute. I can't. I don't want to be mad at Joe Gorga, but he's just so cute. Joe Gorga and apparently Louis get into it this season too, and apparently Joe Gorga does not attend Teresa's housewarming because of it. So we're going to see more fighting between the Gorgas and the Giudices this season. All right. But according to this new tea in regard for this new season of Real Housewives of New Jersey, they're saying it's going to be Black Dolores' season. And some of you still get offended when I say Black Dolores. I am black. I can say that. And it's a joke. Lighten up. We'll get into Wendy Williams, who was the first to call Dolores black. Look, and I know it's usually like one or two people that might say, "Oh, are you gonna have Black Dolores? She's not. That's offensive." Get over yourself. If you don't like what I do, go somewhere. You don't look. I'm not going to be sitting here trying to please every single person. Anyway, so they're saying that Dolores this is her season. This is her come out. She is bringing it this season. Because we've been very critical of Dolores not bringing it for the last few seasons. I feel like this is going to be very pre-produced. If you saw my video on this tea, I was like, this sounds like a fairy tale. We didn't hear a lot about Jennifer Aiden. What we heard is that Melissa and Jackie are having issues. Mind you, I don't have any notes in front of me. Come on, brain. Look, come on. How do I remember all of this? Jackie and Melissa are having issues, but Jackie and Teresa are best buddies this season. We do have a couple of newbies. Friend does. Not sure if one is going to be a full-time housewife. But in the tea, Tracy Johnson, who was edited out of the reunion, the producers are not interested in her unless she's filming with Tiki. They are watching our videos. They are watching us. They are watching us. I'm here for it. They're watching us. We're not interested in Tracy either without Tiki. And some people were saying that they don't like Tiki. I don't love Tiki. I don't think Tiki's that interesting. But I like how he naturally fit with the guys. I feel like Louis does not fit with those guys naturally. I feel like maybe because he's a guy's guy, Tiki, and really good at sports and really good at any challenge and might be a cheater, pumpkin eater. Just saying, look, I'm trying not to judge him for the past and maybe the present. All right, let's move on. Since we're talking about Black Dolores, let's get into Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams, as you know, the end of the Wendy Williams show happened last month, almost a month ago at this point. All of her things, the iconic purple chair, the memorabilia in her hoarder's paradise, her office, all were taken. And it seems as if Wendy Williams has new management. So Wendy Williams did a recent interview with TMZ Live where she basically said that she's working on a podcast and that she hasn't decided where it's going to be just yet. But we all, when we saw this video, we're like, oh, wait a minute. Wendy Williams is not 100%. She's not ready to return it to the public eye or to do a podcast. Well, she has a new manager, the man that used to do her jewelry. He's a jeweler, Will Selby. So he did an interview with The Sun and basically said, well, yeah, this is what we have planned and da-da-da-da. And if you saw my coverage of that interview, I said, he don't know what he's talking about. What I did notice, though, he did watch my video. You know how I noticed? Because literally, when we pointed out that he wasn't following her official Instagram account and that he should follow Wendy Watchers, guess who he's following now? Wendy Watchers, who we love. I mean, but that's a fan account. So I was just sort of like, that is what sealed the deal for me. I was like, oh, you watched our video. And hopefully he'll pay attention. But I already told you, I felt like he was watching our video because they need to have a visual aspect. And that's the one thing that he kept on saying. We're going to have a visual aspect. We're going to record the Wendy Williams podcast, the Wendy experience in her home. And so many Wendy Nistas were saying, oh, something's not right here. Wendy would not want all of these people traipsing through her home, celebrity or not, coming through her home to do this. During the pandemic, when she was doing her show from her home, she didn't like it. She hated it. Wendy does not seem 100%. It does. I don't want to say that Will is taking advantage of her, but it's literally in a guardianship, aka conservatorship here in New York when it comes to her finances. And some of you that have dealt with this have chimed in the comment section about Wendy Williams and what this conservatorship, guardianship really means. So Will Selby doesn't have any sort of deal. He was like, well, we're thinking about Amazon, Audible, and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Nothing has been confirmed. And I don't think things will be confirmed just because based off the interview that she did with TMZ Live, it's very clear to all of us, and maybe a handful of people don't see it, that Wendy Williams is not insurable. You're not going to invest millions of dollars in someone that you don't think can actually pull it off. But right now, it seems as if Wendy and Will are going to be putting this out themselves. Could they gather together something? Maybe. I mean, a podcast is pre-recorded. I mean, I try to do my podcast, especially now that we're doing a visual version. I try to do mine straight through. I mean, I stop here and there, but I don't know what they are planning or what the real situation is when it comes to Wendy Williams. As you know, we love Wendy here. But at the same time, we have to report on what we see. We have to be honest on what we see. I can't sit here and be a delusional fan hoping for a podcast. If she's not ready to do it, Wendy has worked long and hard enough that she can live and retire right now. Even though she may not want to, it's a sad way for everything to have fallen the way it has fallen. But I just don't want to push her out there right now when you really don't need to. And I said in my coverage of this story, Little Kev it's time to step in and do what you got to do. I don't know who this Will Selby guy is. He might have all the best intentions, but at the same time, it's very clear to me that he's inexperienced when it comes to managing someone like Wendy Williams. And some of you say, Kempire, you should manage her based on what you laid out. Nope, because she's not insurable. As a manager, I would be like, nope, I can't do it. If anything, as a manager, I'd be like, okay, we need to figure out what your retirement plan is going to look like, where we need to spend the money in regards to the care that you need. Right now, you're not ready to go back. Maybe it'll be a year and you'll be fine. There are lots of rumors on what's happening with Wendy Williams, accusations that, she's suffering from a mental situation because of excessive drinking. I didn't even know that was a thing till I watched Shameless, and that happened with, I don't know, but he drank a lot if you watch Shameless, but we don't know. It's sad to me for this to go down the way that it's been going down, So I just hope for the best. Like I said, she's worked hard enough. She doesn't need to work anymore, even though I know she is a worker bee. She wants to work. She wants to be out there. But it's too much. It's too much for her. We wish her the best. We wish them all the best. But like I said, Lil Kev, it's time for you to step up and protect your mom. Speaking of protection, someone protect Cardi B. Look, Cardi B over the weekend, everyone's outside, y'all. The festivals are happening. People are performing. Cardi B was in the UK, I believe it is. And they were having the Wireless Festival and she was performing. She was on the shoulders of her bodyguard. And I don't know, word on the street, someone tried to grab her hair. Somebody tried to grab something and Cardi B beat them down with her mic. And all you hear is this. I apologize if that hurts your ears. And I was just like, but you see the video footage of her hitting someone with the mic. She hasn't opened up yet about what that was or what happened. Hopefully she will. I mean, hopefully not, because I don't know. This litigious society that we live in, so it wouldn't be surprised if someone's going to try and say they're trying to sue her. But just saying, I mean, she was defending herself from what we could tell. Stop playing with Cardi B, y'all. She knows she's about that life. Guys, as always, I hope that you are having a fantastic week, summer. It is a warm day here in New York City. It's been warm for the last couple of weeks, and it's only July. I don't even know what day it is. It's early July at this point. And I always say that. I don't know what day it is. I woke up. It's been a couple of mornings where I've woken up and I'm like, what day is it? Like, literally, what day is it? And some of you are like, well, living the life that I live, being independent, as a, my job is whatever I make it, really. So some days I'm just like, I wake up, I'm like, what day is it? And also because I do work on weekends. I work on holidays. On July 4th, I was working and putting out content, not planning to, but when there's a story, sometimes you just got to get to work. But I also need to understand balance and boundaries. We all do. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. I know that you guys love what we do here, but there also comes a time where I'm like, I need to worry about my mental health. I need to worry about my physical health. And I do need to take a break. And I'm going to be taking a major break. You'll still get content, but when I travel, the content is not as much. So I will be traveling. In the United States, though. Stay tuned. Guys, I always appreciate hearing your feedback. If you have questions, some of you haven't sent in those questions. Kempire Radio Network at gmail.com. I'll answer them live. Well, not live. I'll answer them here on the podcast. I want to hear your questions, whatever it may be. Be respectful, of course. And let's have that conversation here on the podcast. As always, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers here on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. And check out some of the content that you already missed. Guys, as always, don't forget we also have more merch available at houseofkempire.com. I appreciate you all being here. Have a great rest